Welcome if you're watching live. Welcome if you're watching on catch up later. I will repeat myself on and off because I know YouTube live streams, the replay tends to cut out the first few minutes, which I don't understand why. But we've got some updates today, discussions, adding in regard to locations of places of interest, because I know Jeff Clark did make a key point. I did a map, and not so much a map analysis, but I did do some little adjustments and I wasn't too far off. So I don't know how many people are going to show up tonight, if many do. But if it's somewhat active, then I'll keep it going. And if it's pretty quiet, I'll end it short because, needs to be awareness, needs to be a presence. So welcome if anyone does join. I did do a heads up as well. I did do a heads up on my channel page earlier today. So it was planned and in place, but I guess not everyone is notified. And I guess other people don't look. So not much I can do about it. In terms of short clips, could have done it there as an update, but I just thought that the reach wouldn't target subscribers. Oh my goodness, Skippy, I remember you. Wow. Welcome back, Skippy, unless you were watching in the background. We got Mia Maven, good to see you again. Yeah, I remember Skippy, definitely a long time viewer. I think you, Skippy, were present during the Kenny Veach case, but I wasn't aware of at the time. Very prominent in the, I think, Dylan Rounds case. We got Maddie. Welcome, Maddie, to the live stream. Skippy, been in the background most videos. Well, I appreciate you still watching in the background. That's all good. I'm not too sure, Skippy. Was it the Presgrove case when you were watching in the background because of the way drama and conflict was going on at the time? I can't remember if that was you, but I understand certain decisions because it can get a little bit hectic, but that's true crime. It tends to be like that most of the time, regardless of the case. Kenny Veach, mystery, not the same levels of drama, but you get those moments. Skippy, yes, both cases you covered is when I started following you. Yes, too much drama in that case. It appears to be ongoing, Skippy, over there. Originally, just as a heads up, I was going to do a Noah Presgrove video today, but unfortunately there were delays and stuff going on in the background, so didn't really have time for it. It would have been a pre-recorded video, that's why I would have done it earlier. But I just thought on the spot, not so much on the spot, because I did do an announcement earlier, I'll do a live stream on Kenny Veach, M-Cave, and kind of explain why it's deeper than ever. Now granted, because of the time of doing this, it is earlier. I might end it earlier as well, but that will be better because of time zone difference. Hopefully enough people show up in time, like how I did with the last few live streams, or the first one what I did in a long time on the case. I don't think I've done many live streams on Kenny Veach in particular. Skippy, I appreciate you keeping up with Noah's case and Kenny's disappearance. Yeah, because normally I would only do one or the other, spend months, years on one thing, then transition over to a different case or a previous one. Switching and changing isn't what I normally do. I'm not good at that, but I have tried a little bit in recent time and it kind of worked. It's just trying to keep on top of it all, because with Noah Presgrove, there's been some new things which have come about, court documents, responses by defendants, etc. So that's what I need to catch up on in the standalone video. But I will just allow more people to join this live stream. If you want to share the live or anything like that, that'd be appreciated. And welcome to anyone else that does join or is watching in the background. Got some bullet points along the way, which can read them out to you now, just to set things up for what's going to go on tonight and how it's going to be talked about, and then can do some questions as well at the start. So got multiple perspectives on the case as demonstrated by me. Skippy, a good example of someone who is aware of how I show multiple perspectives, but how many other people won't be aware and won't know how or why I do it, and how there can be misunderstandings from doing it that way. Because it's not about sitting on the fence, but it's about looking at different areas, and of course I'll explain more later. The next bullet point is the mineshaft, a focus and recap from the video that I did a day or two ago. Very deep, very important. Next bullet point, Jeff Clark, M-Cave location, the one that no one saw originally, only Jeff Clark, a location update on that. Picture Canyon versus Really Robbins Canyon, because it doesn't really have a name, so we'll just call it after the person that was first to record it on a hike. The importance of that. Mineshaft versus SB Vega's mineshaft. Discussions about that, the importance. And, you know, in terms of a what-if situation, if search and rescue had or did reveal photos and details, would it change, honestly? So that's what's going to happen tonight. Skippy says it's college football day in the US, so some people are probably watching TV. Fair enough. And that's a fair point, Skippy, because a big proportion of viewers on my channel actually watch from the TV, which is kind of crazy, because I could never imagine my face being on someone's TV screen. It's kind of weird, but it's good. I know some people have said that they've watched on much bigger screens as well, which is crazy. We got Norway guy, good username. Welcome to the channel, Norway. Are you new to the case or new to the channel? If anyone has questions before we do get into tonight's live, just whilst more people join along and stuff, so no one misses anything. If you've got any questions on the case of Kenny Veach, or questions on Dylan Rounds, or questions on Noah Presgrove, feel free to do so. Oh, there we go. Sweden is here. That's good. Welcome to the live stream, Linda. It's good that you're here. Oh, there we go. About that for a second. So, like with the Noah Presgrove case, I'll give little updates here and there. Has my perspective, opinion drastically changed within the case of Kenny Veach and M-Cave? Has it drastically changed? I guess you could say it's become more centered than ever before. So I can explain that, because that's where it ties on with multiple perspectives, which can be the first point. Let's lower the tripod down just a little bit. It's a bit wonky. I can navigate straight, which is a bit of a pain. So, in the past, and I can still make references now, but if you look back at some of my previous videos, I was towards the latter stage, I was going towards the perspective, suggestions of Kenny Veach is alive, evidence and proof to suggest it in different ways. Some stronger pieces of material than others, a couple counted in between, but nevertheless, it was looking at it based on a theory, an idea originally, and then slowly backed up with a form of material, whether people call it direct evidence or not. That's like the direction how it was going. I didn't completely neglect other angles, because in fairness, there was a time in the past where Susan Veach was putting her points across and letting me know about it, and then I went off to look at it from a different way, the possibilities of Kenny being out there or the M-Cave, and then Susan would say to me, why are you doing those videos? Why are you talking like that? You know the truth. This is the truth. And it's, well, when it becomes absolute concrete, absolute, well, then it's only one way. But when there's so much material and so much evidence, you got to look at it from the other perspectives to weigh it out. In some ways, weighing it out can then lead to the direction you truly go in. But you do tunnel vision, one way, one-sided, you're probably going to miss out on a lot. And if you focus in too much, you deny yourself of, you know, video discussion opportunities. Maddie says, Susan was just covering up or trying to. She knows everything. So, Maddie, when you say that Susan Veach might be covering up, as in the truth about Kenny, considering that Susan was all about saying that Kenny is still alive, if you're saying she's covering the truth up, are you implying that Susan knows that Kenny Veach isn't alive, but trying to portray that he is? That would take a rather dark, unexpected turn, of course. I don't know if anyone knows, but when the documentary aired, HLN, the Mojave Nightmare Mystery, or In the Desert, no, she knows what happened. Right, so somewhat vague, but the possibilities endless. Norway, don't tell me Kenny captured by UFO. What I will say is, Norway guy, I don't know if you've heard of Ewu Crew, also known as Explore With Us. Originally, when the originals were in charge of the channel, what were they called? Emma and Bob, or so, father and daughter. When Ewu Crew did a video or two out there in the Mojave Desert, not quite Little Jomay Canyon, probably before that, where it's a bit flatter, they were panning the camera around, and Emma captured a UFO, and it was flying over or near to Nellis Air Force Base. The timing of it rather creepy. And at the end of the day, you can say UFO if it is an unidentified flying object. It could turn out to be military related, it could turn out to be a foreign aircraft, but in the moment at the time, it is unidentified, so you can call it that. A UFO doesn't have to mean aliens, not exactly. Or at least that's my definition, how I understand it. But considering that it was captured on camera, a UFO flying over in the dark, did Kenny Veach ever come across that? You heard about the tall greys, alien greys, in the desert area, the mountains. On the side of mountains or around the back, there are entrance exit ways where UFOs can enter and leave and park up. And I think there might have been mentions, I don't know if it's in the same area or further afar, wherever there's water, going underwater, underground bases. There's a lot of the possibilities in talk, but maybe not enough hard evidence. But I'm not going to completely wipe it off the list, right? When you think of the area and what other people may come across and encounter, got to keep it open. Skippy, I think in that area, most UFOs are military skunk works being tested. Maybe Kenny saw something classified he shouldn't have. You never know. There we go. We got Trav, also known as Travis. Welcome. It's good that you're here. Things are getting quite deep in the case. It was J Chuck Vlogs. J Chuck was the one who captured military helicopters on and off flying over near to the area where he was hiking. Just implying that, you know, there's activity, military presence, whether they're operating in the area or just flying on over. You got a stray hiker out there in a place of interest, and military see someone like that lurking about, they might think, what's going on there? You never know. 15 people watching, that's good to see. Welcome to the rest of the people that have joined along to this live stream. The case deeper than ever, the reasons behind that explained tonight, and adding on with other discussions, recaps and questions. So if anyone has joined, if anyone has questions on this case, my thoughts on the case, feel free to leave it in the live chat. So, multiple perspectives are needed and are important, but I just wasn't able to previous, because years ago, I was younger. I mean, I'm only 25, but back then, the perspectives wouldn't have been the same. And then when going over to true crime, dealing with the conflict, dealing with drama, dealing with BS, all kinds of categories, all kinds of mess, all kinds of claims and facts, and then fake facts, misinformation, disinformation, all the different possibilities and outcomes of death and causes of death and theories, overloaded but controlled, and getting used to that style, getting used to just doing videos every day. Never thought it would be possible in the Kenny Veach case, especially now. You'd think everything would have been exhausted by now, but there's a lot of things that haven't been tapped into or questioned enough, and I'm able to question more things now. And yeah, maybe other things beside cases, like people in the background, just in life, where I've had to question or doubt myself or question others, because I'm always left guessing and never giving clear answers, and messed about and used and screwed over, and yet somehow through all of it, and if it does happen again, it channels into the Kenny Veach case without the excess baggage. So the experience comes through, but the mess stays at the front door. Trav says, work rate crazy. Appreciate that. What I will say, Trav, just as a heads up, as in how I've done videos or how many, in the past 2020 to 2021 or so, I did Kenny Veach videos maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, you know, limited resources and mindset and material, and I guess just the way I was. Then when covering true crime, Dylan Round's case, the first one, 500 videos made on Dylan Rounds. And then eventually the Noah Presgrove case, 430 plus videos made on Noah Presgrove. And then Kenny Veach. I don't want to give the exact number because I could be wrong, but I've done at least 400 plus videos on Kenny Veach, but a fair portion were short clips, shorts. I don't really like to count them, but if you're doing it in total, it is 400 plus. And now, for the first time ever, I've been able to do videos back to back almost every single day. And the days I've not done it, it's because I've not had enough time or background stuff. And then the odd day, it's because I just wanted to do a little bit on Noah Presgrove, so I don't completely abandon that. But it also ties in with the multiple perspectives. Multiple perspectives, holistic mindset just means looking in more directions and possibilities. And it does suit the Kenny Veach case because of all the different theories, from cartel, abduction, murder, kidnap, military intervention, starting a new life, staging a disappearance. The lot. Skippy, that's a lot of work you put into these cases. Thank you. You're welcome. I will say, maybe I am selective when it comes to cases, but that will just be based on the levels of interest. So obviously, if I'm more interested in something, I can do more on it and just focus in a lot more. I have tried things out of my comfort zone, or I've tried things which I'm not quite familiar with, and it can be a bit, not intimidating, but you want to try and get it right, and the interest may not always be there, but give it a try, see how it goes. It sounds bad, but sometimes you do have to look at the statistics and the views to see if it's worth doing or not, because if you want to spread awareness, well, technically you need people to watch. And if people aren't watching, what can you do? If you're a big YouTube channel with a big audience, you don't have to worry about it. So I think people are best suited for different roles and different cases. I'm just catching up with the comments. Mia, Raf, I appreciate your Kenny Veach MK coverage. I wonder what, if any, investigation information was released to the family by Red Rock Search and Rescue. Also, who can forget the odd and strange behaviour from the girlfriend? Yeah. I wonder what type of info was released to the family. I don't know if we'll ever find out. I mean, Susan Veach didn't say too much, but then again, maybe she wasn't told too much. I know Susan reached out, I think, to David Cummings, the commander, and the response was this Gene Lukowski claiming to be a part of search and rescue. The commander said, never heard of that name before. So, a fake. And yet how they spoke online and presented themselves was quite professional and all there. But that's the thing. And it's not just the online aspect, because it can apply in real life. A person can present themselves in a professional way, in an intelligent way. Doesn't mean to say they are, literally. There might be another side to them. You see people that show up or appear like true crime, giggling, laughing and joking, peel that layer back, what's really there, right? I don't like putting a layer on my face. If it's stiff as fuck it is, if it looks dull or if it looks whatever, it is what it is, because that's how it is. I don't use filters, even though some people have said that I've got lipstick on, I've got fake eyelashes, I've got a wig, I've got mascara and all that. I don't know what's going on there, but that's what people have said. Let me just catch up with the additional comments. But Mia, key points that you make, Mia, because it just so happens that one of the points talking about is at the end of this live where it's to do with search and rescue. If information's handed over, what does it do? So Mia, a bit of a mind reader. But yeah, in terms of the girlfriend, and you know what? It's not quite the same situation, but I can relate in a way, as in when a person speaks on behalf of someone else that isn't around, but I am around. What I'm getting at, Mia, is it Mia? Sorry, I'm getting the names mixed up. Mia. Kenny Veach, to our knowledge, isn't around to talk for himself. So the girlfriend is like the mouthpiece girlfriend, but should be ex-girlfriend. And even when Kenny was alive, in some of his videos, he said his friend, not girlfriend. Then in a different video, he said girlfriend. It was back and forth, the relationship status. Who knows what was going on in the background. But then for the ex-girlfriend, because technically that they are an ex, if they're no longer with him, if the other person's dead, you're an ex. Is what it is. And yet they're saying, I am the girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. When people get those titles slightly adjusted, they speak more. And how do I relate to that? Well, what I'm saying is there's been times where people online, maybe joking, but some have claimed and said, I am married to Warlight Raf. And a few people, three, four people online claiming to be married to me. And it's them doing the talking, and I'm like in the background thinking, what's going on? When someone does the talking for you, as if they know more, or they want to be associated with you, or they want to be known with ties to someone else, for whatever reason. Was Kenny's girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, doing the same thing? What, for attention or for some other gain? You let me know what you think. So we've got 28 people watching now. That's obviously good to see. Welcome. And today's in the background. I'm still catching up. Maddie says that is an option. I think Skippy, he could have seen something he shouldn't have, as in Kenny, went to look and they saw him. You never know. Because other hikers have experienced unusual stuff out there since, Kenny Veach might have experienced the same or something else darker the time when he didn't return back. Linda, you do a great job. Your brain is awesome. Appreciate that, Linda. It might be the brain, not always, but I guess when it comes to YouTube, it kind of works. Norway, Kenny's girlfriend suspicious. Yeah. And look, sorry about the coughing. It's still there. In terms of the girlfriend being suspicious, well, one fact, and it is a fact, girlfriend claimed to report Kenny missing 2-3 days later. Official report on the police document says 7/8 days later. Why would you lie? Why would you outright lie when the fact counters you in hard evidence? Doesn't look good, does it? So that's pretty crystal clear and solid. The girlfriend lied about reporting Kenny missing. It was much later than what she claimed. A big lie, extremely dodgy. That in its own right is suspicious. Because if you are the girlfriend, right, or boyfriend, whatever situation it is, but in this case, if you are the girlfriend and you care about them being a girlfriend, being in connection with someone, step up, show that you care, take action, be a catalyst, right? Didn't happen. Now, if the relationship status was just friends, because it was so back and forth, and the girlfriend's trying to make it out more than what it actually is, was there any jealousy? Was there any frustration? Who knows? Norway says, let me investigate. Okay. Mia, yes, very accurate. It's easy to make assumptions and insert their own truth when someone else is speaking on another person's behalf. It's like with the Dylan Rounds case, how Dylan was being taught about the whole gay theory and that being shoved and pushed. Dylan wasn't around to defend himself. Right now, the Noah Presgrove case, the way that's going on, Noah isn't around to defend himself or give his side of the story. Skippy, a vast, desolate area of desert, easy to get rid of someone like Kenny if he came across the wrong person or entity. We got Sweet Echoes. Welcome to watching. I'm not able to type in the live chat when I'm doing live streams, unfortunately, but sending you a rose back, Sweet Echoes. Is that a profile picture of a dolphin? It's quite colourful. Looks good. Welcome to anyone else that has joined this live stream later. If you want to rewind back, feel free to do so, or later on catch up. Just giving bullet points and key points as to where we're at within the case and why it's deeper than ever. Appreciate that, Skippy. I don't know, to be honest, I think you would have been around Skippy previous in 2024. I think I was still covering the Dylan Rounds case in a way. I had a cough then from a cold, but then a cough, and it lasted nearly 100 days. There's a chance that maybe this might last as well, unfortunately. I'll tell you something, the cough, more so now, only comes around when I decide to do a video. How convenient, how considerate that is. Maddie. Sounds like the ex wanted to get him away for the attention game while still quit or quiet. You never know. So yeah, in short, multiple perspectives enable multiple videos, but there can be a misunderstanding that comes with that, and I think I've seen it just recently by newer viewers, so that's why I do need to explain it in a second. Yeah, so true. You spend days upon exploring the remote sheep mountain range and never come across another human. So, in terms of like where I was once at with the idea and videos of Kenny is alive, staging his disappearance, here's proof, here's evidence. Then a little bit on and off, here's proof that the cave exists, here's proof that Kenny Veach could be out there. Have I done a U-turn? I can understand people, strangers that think Warlight Ref focused on one thing or one theory or concept. Then suddenly it goes from evidence and proof of him being dead to evidence and proof of him being alive. It can only be one or the other, right? And evidence and proof that the cave exists, evidence and proof that the cave doesn't exist whatsoever. Why is there a sudden U-turn, a sudden change? Have I been paid off? Have I been silenced? Have I been threatened? No. It's because I go so far down one avenue, but then I'll go so far down another avenue. I don't want tunnel vision. Maybe a little bit more tunnel vision in the past, just because it is what it is. But now, I don't want to neglect things. I don't want to neglect thoughts or theories or concepts, and I don't want to neglect people. right? Whereas in the past, with how one looks at it, and then ever since with what's been deleted, removed, hidden, things that have disappeared, people as well, got to keep an eye out on everything that's going on. Norway, but how survive he supplies food? Do you mean how did Kenny survive, with food or without, when out there? Skippy, I wonder if someone was watching Kenny's first time he found the cave on unrecorded hike, so had to get rid of him when he went back out there. What or who did he see? If that was the case, Skippy, it makes you wonder, was Kenny Veach alone or not when he went out on his October hike, his recorded one, when he didn't find a cave? Was someone lurking in the background, observing and watching? Norway, I trust, or I think maybe Kenny died between 2014 to 2025. You never know. See, this is the key thing. There's been times in the past where I've said, here's proof to suggest Kenny Veach is alive up to a certain point, up to a certain date or year, as in when there was material to suggest he's alive. As for beyond that, unknown. Try to keep the language and wording clear. Oh, we got Jake's Great Adventures. Welcome, Jake. Have you done a video of Kenny's girlfriend buying a house in a different state, the exact date he went missing a year later? I'm not too sure. Am I able to do a screenshot? I don't know if I can. I don't want to touch anything because I don't want to be kicked out of my own live stream. I'll try and make a note of that. I've heard a few people mention it now about the girlfriend buying property or a house, and does that imply buying it for Kenny, a place to hide out, live? I have done like a map analysis or street view or satellite imagery of Sharon Pilgrim's house or apartment at the time in a gated community, trying to go back in time. At a given time, was Kenny's vehicle there, yes or no? Interestingly, at his daughter's place of living in the past, a year or some years on, Kenny's vehicle was parked outside his daughter's house. A video on that on my channel already. Mia to Norway. Old military bunkers look like buried semi-truck carriers, provide shelter from the heat. All you'd really need is non-perishable food and a large water supply. True, was he with someone else? Did he find something that a companion then? Yeah. Oh, we got EJ Bull, that's good. Welcome, EJ, it's good about your hair. And with Kenny Veach, I know someone said, well, didn't Kenny have hiking poles or walking sticks, which could have accounted for the extra footsteps? Not on that hike, from what I'm aware of. Kenny, well, actually, no. In fairness, we never saw Kenny Veach with the hiking sticks, poles, only at the end of his hike, and they were by the side of his vehicle. But how he walked into frame, the poles were already on the side of his vehicle. So I don't know if he already set up, put the hiking poles beside the vehicle, lift the boot lid up, adjust the mirrors on the car so you can't see the reflection, set the tripod up, set the camera up, hit record, and then walk on scene as if you just come back. It was interesting. Jake says, I also feel like he was hiding something from us. In his house tour, there was one room he would not show. That is true, Jake. He stuttered as well. He was like, I can't show you that. It's a secret. A secret. Kenny is doing a house tour video for the primary purpose of showing the house off, being honest and open in terms of the offer and deal, selling the house with him to whoever. You start hiding stuff from a potential buyer. Are they going to be invested? Maybe not. you think you'd be as transparent as possible. And when he talks about the room, you can hear him get nervous. True. That room was a mystery. It was. What was found in that mysterious room when police or authorities went on down to search the house? If ever. Maddie, for all you know, Kenny found something and they found him and changed his identity from Kenny to Benny. Wow, I don't know if you're aware of this, Maddie. The Reiki healing store Enchanted Forest, owned by the sister Debbie Veach, there is a worker there called Marge, or Marjorie, I think, ginger-haired female. And someone in the background was saying Kenny Veach had a gender change, or trans, or whatever you call it, turn into a female. So, there's that. Skippy, maybe he had maps and possible artifacts he had found in that room. You never know. I think he said projects or something. There are certain clues and hints you can always look back at. And now Artari, YouTuber, was really into the signs and symbolisms in the background in Kenny's footage. Whoa, easy there, Mia. You make me jealous. No way, I don't know. I saw many news over 26 was missing near location of Kenny. Many news. So over 26 people are missing near to where Kenny was out there. Is that Sam? Of course, the more people that go missing in a certain area, it kind of becomes like the Bermuda Triangle. Mia says, maybe Kenny Veach had 50 Shades of Grey Red Room. Who knows? People are really, rarely transparent. Oh, goodness. I don't have a red room, but I have a red robe on me. And as for the tools, locked away. In terms of what I was aware of missing people out in that location where Kenny was at, supposedly, that would supposedly apply to Eric the hiker. Remnants still remain, I think, on the Twitter page where Eric the hiker was in communication with Sharon Pilgrim in 2016 about going out there. And Sharon said, where are you? Can you provide any updates? Did it lead to anything? No. Was he reported as a missing person? No. Were Kenny's family members or those connected to Kenny overly worried? Not from the looks of it. Doesn't look good, does it? Another person. Even if it was a prank or the person didn't intend on going out, just the fact that there was a level of communication with someone in the background and not much action taken. And that's the problem. Sometimes people won't take action or won't do much because secretly there's no need to worry. There's no need to fear because they already know the outcome, good or bad. Other time, people just don't think because they just don't care. And that can apply in many ways besides cases. It feels like crime kidnapping plan or they ambushed Kenny Veach. The sword and tent. What was that whole thing about? A hideout? Was it tied in with Kenny's disappearance? Who knows? Mia, red robe, door ripper. It's giving Ares God of War vibes. That's really good, that. I like that title. Mia always knows the right things to say and the best at executing the lines. Very good. Okay, so that's just the first bullet point done. Multiple perspectives means more videos and more discussions and going about it in different ways. I'm not going to lock in all the way with just one thing. I'm going to look about so much evidence to support death, so much evidence to support alive, so much evidence to support missing in the desert, so much evidence to suggest starting a new life, staging a disappearance. I might not be able to do it all at once, but I'll do it one at a time. I might go back and forth and a bit all over. So no one's confused. I'm looking at it in different ways until something becomes absolutely concrete, or so. When it's all open and up for play and discussion, well, you can really do or say anything and look in any direction, really. So that's the way I see it. Welcome to anyone else that has joined the live stream. Share your thoughts and opinions down below. Sam, in terms of the mineshaft, the importance behind that. So a night or two ago, the video was Kenny Veach hiding more from us about the mineshaft compared to other areas? Is there more to the mineshaft than what's been let on already? Not so much about Kenny going down there and being found dead, but some kind of entrance way, some kind of beacon marker. The fact that Kenny Veach started his hike at that spot and ended his hike on a future hike, November time, at the mineshaft too, start and finish. Weird. And people could say, why are you saying Kenny ended his hike at the mineshaft in November? Because his scent ended there, supposedly. But when it comes to language and wording, a lot of articles say the fairing of Kenny's was found near a vertical mineshaft. And I know, Travis, you've been to that mineshaft, the mineshaft, which we're mostly all familiar with. But with SB Vega's Adventures coming across a second mineshaft not far away, you could ask yourself, which mineshaft? If all these articles refer to it as a vertical mineshaft and there's more than one, a can mean one of many. If you talk about the word the mineshaft implies it's more prominent, more known, and naturally you would run to the idea of it being the one Kenny Veach stood in his video. So there's like video ideas and discussions about that, but the mineshaft which we're aware of, some people have suggested tunnel ways, networks, connections underneath, even if it's not accessible anymore, that it was once accessible. But would it have been for Kenny Veach? I mean, he pointed the camera straight down and zoomed all the way down. He didn't descend it. He didn't pan the camera around inside, so we wouldn't really know if it was filled in, covered, broken or not. When Jeff Clark went in 2017, from 2014 to 2017, can a lot change? Maybe. It was probably onwards past 2017, 2018 and 2022 when it drastically changed. Damage to the ladder, the brace being removed. Skippy, if he was killed, his body could have been thrown into an old mineshaft, later covered up by rocks. Maybe. So I think it's up Little Jermaine Canyon. SB Vega's Adventures was hiking along at some point, some months or weeks ago, and came across a rock cache of rocks, stones piled on top, and when moving them all away, came across a big scorpion. But there was suggestions and inquiring about digging it up, that besides those stones piled on top of one another, the ground needed to be dug up just in case a body was buried there. You never know. Might not be a body. Could be something else. Could be treasure, an artifact. There could be indirect mysteries out there. And like with what hikers have experienced already, maybe indirect. Whether Kenny Veach encountered them or not, that's another thing. So I think the mineshaft could hold more answers, could hold more mystery. The fact that a supposed crystal skull was found in the mineshaft is very creepy and odd. Out of all places you could put a crystal skull, you put it in such a remote, vast, desolate area. Why would anyone think it's a good idea to put a crystal skull in a mineshaft? Oh, because it just so happens to be a spot, a zone, which Kenny put on the map as in popularity, and that Kenny Veach led and left a trail, by choice or not, his scent leading up to the mine shaft. So is it possible that he also left an artifact behind in the mine shaft in hopes someone would find it at some point? Look, Kenny Veach said himself, he's a storyteller. He's an inventor. He's an artist. He creates stuff. He could have created some kind of mystery. But what I would say, Mia, because I like to have hybrid ideas, there's a chance that Kenny Veach could have faked things when out there. But what he's completely unaware of, there are dark things out there. There are mysteries out there which he may or may not have encountered, which could have indirectly led to his disappearance, which he wasn't planning on. The example I can give you is, let's say you're trying to fake a paranormal video in a haunted house. You're messing about, moving tables, chairs and doors with string, playing a prank, a trick on your audience and viewers. And then suddenly, a door does slam shut behind you. And it wasn't you, it wasn't your friend. It was real. And then you realize, oh shit, there really is something out there. Did Kenny Veach have that same experience? It makes you think. Norway, I think Kenny Veach fell down sinkhole, gets injured, need rescue for help because many Nevada have earthquakes. Sinkhole. I mean, in terms of holes, crevices, not quite the same thing, but people have suggested maybe Kenny fell into a hole, out of reach, out of view, out of sight. Could be somewhere there. Who knows? Skippy, I came across an old grave in the is AZ Arizona desert this past February. Told landowner who wasn't even aware of it. And like what you say, Skippy, an old grave, which I guess was somewhat visible to see as long as you're present. So when you're in such a vast, desolate area, when not many people go by, probably not going to see it or come by it because not many people walk by it. But if there's that possibility of it underground, something buried, hidden somewhere, it's even more of a needle in a haystack. Because I think, in some ways, the Dylan Rounds case and search, and you let me know what you think, Skippy, about this. The search for Dylan Rounds under the circumstances of Lucin desert-like terrain, but much smaller in size compared to the Mojave Desert, Little Jome Canyon and beyond. Looking for Dylan Rounds, who was underground, buried. Needle in a haystack. Drones did not work. A full spectral ground-penetrating radar drone, originally only used by military, then released to public use to some extent, wasn't even successful in finding Dylan's body. Cadaver dogs weren't even successful in finding Dylan's body. A 500 volunteer search, hand-in-hand grid search, wasn't enough to find Dylan Rounds. What ended up happening was the killer, the murderer, decided to reveal the location. Without that, likely Dylan wouldn't have been found for quite some time, right? Unless it was by accident or people got lucky when searching. But that was on a smaller scale. In terms of the area, Lucin, Utah, compare that to the Mojave Desert and Kenny Veach. The scale is so much bigger. So if it took so long to find Dylan Rounds and it ultimately came to relying on the person that had the key, well, in the Kenny Veach case, who has the key to finding Kenny? Or is it that Kenny is the key to finding Kenny? That Kenny is the key to finding the M Cave? And if Kenny went looking for the M Cave is successful, if you find the M Cave, that's the key to finding Kenny. Does it go hand in hand? We got Slick. Welcome, Slick, to the channel. The mineshaft tunnel that has caved in leads to an M that has piezoelectric crystals that vibrate in such a way as to cause nausea. Also, the tunnel has poisonous gases, making it dangerous. So, Slick, are you referring to the mine shaft which Kenny Veach was standing nearby? The one that Scott Natal, Jeff Clark and SB had descended into and searched around? Is that what you're referring to there? If so, that's interesting, of course. It was hidden amongst the cacti, so very hard to spot. Okay, fair enough. Do you think, Skippy, the grave came first before the cacti, or the other way around? Because sometimes you could have a grave, and then if there's vegetation that grows over it, it can then become concealed. And then maybe, due to the season, weathering, vegetation dying down, it can become a bit more open again. In any way, could you apply that to Kenny Veach? The time of the season when Kenny came across the M cave unknown to him, he described it as hidden. Yet Kenny Veach also, in his hike video attempt, said it was easy to find. How is it easy to find something that's hidden? It's hidden for a reason, which would make it hard to come by. I'll have to do a video on that because it's just yet another contradiction. I don't care if it's a small thing. Contradictions are contradictions. People in life can say, yeah, but, you know, we all make mistakes. You know, none of us are perfect. You know, we might be nice, we might be good people, but, you know, we still make mistakes. Oh, get a grip of yourself. You know, at the end of the day, people become walking contradictions, even on a small scale. Multiple small contradictions add up, just like how one big event would. Pathological liar, constant contradictions, loss in credibility, and beyond. What else do we have? Skippy said the grave that he came across was hidden amongst the cacti, so very hard to spot. Yeah. Sorry, I've already read that out. And that the grave came first, then the cacti grew around it, which is interesting because if anything happened to Kenny Veach, with all the time passing on by now, vegetation growing, dispersing, and any other new growth, it could be harder to search for Kenny now than how it was at the time. All these additional factors. Skippy said, rocks and shrubs take on a different appearance in the sun and shade. Hard to make out what's right there. Mia, piezoelectric energy is fascinating. Totally off topic. I think the pyramids were power generators. I think piezoelectric was energized. We got Chris. Welcome back, Chris. Heard a rumor. SB is about to go back out and do an investigation. Is he? I know he said something about uploading a video. I'll have to double check that. Easy to find since he may have noted certain rocks marking the area, which wouldn't raise interest unless you were there at ground level to see it. Quartz crystals are in television, watches and other devices. It's a source of energy. We even have crystals in our inner ear. If they become dislodged, it causes vertigo. Wow. Crystals, can we cry crystals as well and then sell them off? Wasn't there something in some country where a person was crying, some girl, and they cried like diamonds or something? It was painful, but diamonds would come out the eyes. I think something like that. Okay. So there is that possibility that the mine shaft may have more unsolved mysteries and things about it. Just the general fact that Kenny Veach spent more time at the mine shaft talking about it, looking down inside of it. To Kenny or to the viewers at the time, no link to the M cave, at least back then. Why would you spend more time looking at something that's not relevant to what you're actually looking for? And then when you actually find something that is more relevant, you just walk by it, like the row of caves. Kenny did not find any M cave before or after. So at the very end of his hike, probably knowing this is the final area before leaving, why not record and salvage what you've got instead of just walking on by. Norway, I forgot what means being the victim of a crime. A victim of a crime. What, murder? Well, I suppose something completely different. I've heard a crime of passion, killing of passion or something. Oh, we got Jam. Welcome, Jam. As a heads up, Jam, I'm going to try and get a No Presgrave video done tomorrow or the day after, depending what happens. Was going to get it done tonight. Well, was going to get it done today, but some roadblocks, delays along the way. Skippy, if Kenny was that secretive about a room in his house, he'd be very secretive about the cave. Yeah? Because you'd think that the M cave is much bigger and more important than a room where certain projects are at. Because, here's a question and a suggestion, Skippy. Because Kenny's house tour video and keeping that room a secret, that video was uploaded before his M cave hike. Is it possible that his secret room of projects, one project was titled M cave? Did he have it in the making? Mia, Raf, you are very stoic in this live. I'd love to see you do more live streams. They're very intriguing and enjoyable. I appreciate that, Mia. I do live streams when I can. Sometimes I look statistically what works best. Sometimes, well, most of the time it's pre-recorded live premieres. But if live streams were just as successful, if not more successful, then obviously I would consider doing more. It is good to do, and it's good how people can watch live and leave comments live. So it's better because, of course, when you do YouTube or when you're a content creator recording, it's in front of a camera in a room or in a studio, and it can be very isolating. So when you do a live stream or something like that, it's a bit more lively and more things going on, so it doesn't feel as quiet in that sense. Live premieres do good as well, but I guess live streams are unique, and you know, I think there's like certain features which get added on to YouTube lives with time, different features. I think there's a feature where you can go live with somebody else, but I don't know how that really works. Norway, oh, I found it. It's this word, right? This suffering harm, including physical, financial, emotional damage as a result of a criminal act. I mean, I don't know if I used the word because I don't know if YouTube will censor me, but you could be a victim of physical, psychological harm by the hands of someone that you may know of in a domestic situation or behind closed doors. You could be a victim to that, but I know people don't like referring to themselves as victims in regard to that. Skippy, maybe he thought he'd bring So back from the cave, but someone interrupted his plan. That's the thing, Kenny could have got more than what he bargained for when out there. I wonder if that secret room had information about the cave location. You never know. Chris, SB Vegas Adventures 4 days ago, edited. Hang in there. New video investigating the Kenny Veach disappearance coming soon. Probably week after next. It'll be a real cliffhanger. Yeah. So I believe, Chris, that video by SB is to do with exploring Really Robbins Canyon. The canyon which had the rock anomaly with the M symbol upon it in a different language, Hebrew, and then that big cave, or shallow big cave. The hike area which Jeff Clark did, but his footage was lost. Well, his camera was somehow dropped, fell out. So, of course, if SB manages to capture the area, that will be of good use. Trav says, I really enjoyed the lives personally. What I will say is, Trav, very small observation. But the way your font in text, you know, as for your username, where Trav as in the A, that font, it's like custom font, but it does look quite aesthetic. Visually, it looks good. Norway, W channel, much appreciated, Norway, and a W username for yourself. Chris, no problem. SB is wore boots on the ground, so it helps everyone. Definitely. And SB as well is very alert. Is very alert when on ground level too, with what he picks up on and what he notices. So he's a bit of like a hybrid between obviously a hiker and then an online viewer that detects things. But there will be times and moments where he might not notice something, which the viewer does, but because he captures it on camera, it's there to review, and that's what matters most. So if there's unfinished business at the mine shaft, what more can be done there? I guess if it was to be dug out. But how? Well, it's probably not possible due to the circumstances, the location, the restrictions. See, just being honest, because it's an observation, it's been said, when you're out there in the Mojave Desert, Little Jermaine Canyon, you can't be moving, taking, or stealing artifacts. You got to leave everything how it is. Well, Scott Natal went into the mine shaft and he literally took artifacts from the mine shaft. It's good that he didn't get in trouble, but it's interesting how rules can be broken, but there doesn't seem to be punishment, but it's publicly posted online. You know when they say drones can't be used in the area unless you've got special clearance, or maybe you search and rescue, so you've got exceptions. Well, some members of the general public did fly a drone over the mine shaft. Did they get in trouble? No. It's just interesting because normally when you think of people breaking rules and then uploading them breaking the rules online, you'd think there'd be consequences, but there haven't been. So are these rules and regulations out there as strict as they are? Are there really consequences for doing stuff? It's probably not worth chancing it, of course, because you could get unlucky. It's just weird. It is. And if there's such strict rules out there, is there also such strict surveillance as well? Because not to sound dodgy, but how are they going to know if you do something in such a desolate, remote area where no one walks by? Are the cameras set up? Are you being watched all the time? Who knows? Skippy, for all his secrecy, I think Kenny may have told someone about the cave location. Did they follow him out there? Greed is a big motivator to hurt someone. Well, not quite the same, but with the Noah Presgrove case, people sharing sensitive information to people that they know of online, maybe friends with, then stabbed in the back when it's then leaked public and revealed elsewhere. Not the original plan, but it went wrong. Jam. I could imagine there are some flying restrictions around. Yeah. From what like Jeff Clark and other people have said, just there's flying restrictions all over the hiking area. You're just not allowed to use drones anywhere in the area. And yet some odd person did. Didn't get in trouble. What time are we on? Oh, that's good. Decent timing. I can still keep on going. Chris, not sure where Driven was in his last MK video. He used a drone. Driven. Oh. Chris, when you say Driven, do you mean Driven X Adventures? The guy with the beard. The one that was saying Kenny Veach, or the way his videos were done, were quite bold in the titles, but didn't actually lead to much answers. Was it that? What other points do we need to mention? Driven X Sean. Oh, is that Wait, is that the name of the guy, Sean, Driven X Adventures? Kind of a coincidence, because you got Sean Horlacker as well back in the past. It's interesting, then. The time of 2020 onwards, when you had Sean Horlacker, the original, before any changes in behaviour, and when Sean, before getting silenced, was focused on Kenny Veach and MK when a little bit safer as well. The community, the live streams that he did, the people that joined along, it was all very stable and good, and it was fun. Of course, things do disperse and go with time. And then you get some people in other situations with, I don't know, in different ways, a bit more stamina, but under certain circumstances, because some people that step down or back away for serious, important reasons. If you're out there, I mean, let's just say that I lived in the US, I was born there. All the videos that I do and true crime, would I still be alive till this day? No guarantee. The closer you are to somewhere where there's a problem, they can then identify you as a problem to them. So when we talk about getting too close to the truth, you get resistance, you get attacked, you get harassed, you get threatened. In some ways, bad enough what I went through, but wouldn't it have been even worse if I was living in the area where it was all happening? You could argue that. So for all the people that do cover these cases in the US, it's understandable why they may go quiet or step down or have a break, because they're literally in the war zone of it all. Not literally, but there's some knocking then. It's through the wall. Norway. All we don't know about what's inside the MK if it's just blocking a big hole with large stone inside. Appreciate SB's efforts. He takes us all over the Nevada desert with him. It's nice to see those remote places. True. And when it's in raw footage or more drawn out, it gives you time to visualize the area and understand where you're at, what you're looking at. If you get jump cuts all over the place, it's like where we at now, it can, well, for some people it could be a bit overwhelming. You're trying to process it all and you just can't because there's limited footage. But if it's drawn out, you got time to picture it, visualize it, and then map it online and compare. It is possible. Chris, I could be wrong. His name might not be Sean. Driven X has been acting weird lately, in my opinion. If you want to, feel free, Chris, to let me know how or why he's been acting weird lately. Like any observations you've known before and after. How is he acting different? What was he like before? What is he like now? What has changed? It's important, this, because there is a pattern and a theme with, in real life and online investigators in the case, some do change in behaviour with time. Do they get too close to the truth? Do they get too involved? Too emotionally charged? Something happens which causes a change in human behavioural patterns. And speaking of which, Mia, the psychology aspects behind that could be applied. Skippy, uh-oh, they're coming to get you, ref. Who's knocking? I'd like to know, Skippy. Who is knocking? Who is coming to get me? Who is going to kidnap me? One aspect, and it's not always to do with changes in human behavioural patterns, but what I would say, Mia, true crime, more so, and mysteries, if there's other creators out there and different channels, what can happen is the whole drama aspect, as in evolutionary human competitiveness and evolutionary primal instinctive behavior of territorial defense mechanisms. When someone latches onto a case and they're the first one there, or they latch onto a niche case which not many cover, they make it their baby, not literally. And if anyone gets too close to their baby, or intervenes, interferes, or provides their own coverage, the original person snaps, bites, and barks, and that's what can cause drama and conflict and attacks and discrediting one another. And maybe in some ways that's what I've been on the receiving end of. I've come on into a case and someone's claimed, you're copying me, you're doing this, you're following this, and it's not original. Is it just because they're too territorial over their case? It's not really their case, is it? It's a public open one. But humans do change. Strange things do occur. But what I will really say is, and I find it absolutely pathetic, because so many people like to bash and attack online, social media, and say it's nothing but drama, conflict. It's better if it didn't exist. Have you not seen or heard conversations in public when walking by, when minding your business? What are people normally talking about in real life? Oh my God, did you hear what went down at that party? Did you hear about what that person did to the other person? Oh my God, there's such a insert swear word or insult. Or, oh my God, have you checked the group chat? Have you seen what's been said about online? Even in real life, if not more, there is drama there. It does not matter. Drama can be anywhere. So when people like to bash and demonize online, it's also happening, and in some ways the origins in real life, because in real life, face-to-face interactions existed before technology, internet. Drama, conflict, pettiness existed before the internet did. So when people like to blame online for being the origins of all problems, no, it's not. Because before the internet, you had in real life drama, conflict, and pettiness, which still exists to this day. The difference between online and in real life is, in one area, you can escape from. In the other, you can't run away. And if you do, they may follow, right? When it's online, to some extent, you can block, you can report. In real life, not so much. Well, you could report to the police, you could do this and that, but in the meantime, where are they at? What are they going to do next? Skippy, yes, Ref. That's always fascinated me. People get possessive about cases and things, can get dangerous. Yep. Can get dangerous. People can change, people can get defensive, people can get snappy. Does it lead to murder? Maybe not. Are they ever the same person again? Who knows? Chris, he went from, oh right, so this is to do with Driven X Adventures. Driven went from saying he knew the truth about Kenny and was going to release it, to bashing Warlight Raf and others for your opinion, to disappearing for a short time, changing his channel to Driven X. Oh. I wasn't around when my name was being bashed, likely because I was elsewhere in which my name was being bashed. Bashed more times than, well, I could insert an example, but then it probably wouldn't be appropriate. I don't know what Driven X whatever has said about me. Bashing me doesn't surprise me. If it's just words, then in terms of what I have come across and experienced, it's okay. When you experience worse things, you can reflect back on previous stuff and say it wasn't as bad. Shouldn't have happened, but it's not as bad. Just putting it into perspective. Skippy, it's like a race between some people to find the truth, so it's about them and not the truth. In other words, Skippy, a rat race. Just like life. Just like fitness, exercise, rat race. running about, rushing around. Sometimes not always necessary or needed. I know there's been times where people have accused or suggested that I have changed in behaviour. Yeah, I never trust a rat. Maybe you can trust a rat if it squeaks. Maybe. So, what I'll move on to now, if there's any more questions or points you can add on. I want to talk about Jeff Clark and the update of the M cave just about all hikers didn't see. The mysterious M-shaped cave which appeared to be caved in, filled in, maybe naturally. Could have been an entranceway. Could have been the cave that Kenny Veach found at one point. Then with time, if it broke down, filled in, caved in, when going back, you might not see it the same way. The lighting, the shadows, how it's casted, you may not see it. 50 people watching, much appreciated. If you're watching right now, you want to rewind back if able, feel free, or you want to catch up later, you can do so. Feel free to share this live stream so more people get to see it. I don't know if you can hype these videos when live or not. Don't know how that works, to be honest. But it's only on mobile at the moment, unfortunately, that feature. So the last video that I did, what's this? Wendy says, why are you so close to the camera? I'm not too sure, Wendy. Maybe you could let me know about that at some point. Yeah. So, I normally don't stand this close to the camera unless things get a bit dodgy. It's not the time to be getting dodgy right now. I need to stand close enough so people can hear the audio. Mia, people demonizing others online, I believe, is self-reflection. It's either jealousy, envy, or just an indication of poor character and weak disposition. And I think the other key thing to acknowledge, humans will like to use the comfort blanket of bad, hateful people have a miserable life. And what, being miserable loves company, something along the lines of that. Bollocks. Put aside the fake, false, overused positivity. Be realistic. Bad people can do bad things to good people, and good people can be worse off in life, and bad people can be better off in life. It's random at times, can be down to luck. The reason why people will use a comfort blanket to say along the lines of miserable, sad life equals company, and bad, negative, nasty, hateful people are only that way because they're jealous, they're sad, they don't have things in their life. People will try and justify it along those means to try and comfort their own situation, which is understandable. It can be a coping mechanism, but unfortunately the dark reality is there's a handful of people out there that can do bad stuff, but actually they're better off than me or you, or have more things and do more things. It can happen. Popski, sorry, no notifications again. It's okay. What I would suggest, Popski, if you go to my main channel page, click the subscribe or the bell icon and check if all notifications are ticked. Possibly turn off notifications, all of them, then turn them all back on. That might help. Oh, Wendy says that was lovely. So it looks like Wendy does like a bit of a close-up when talking. And just know that I am very considerate, because when I am close to the camera, I don't tilt my head because I don't want people to be traumatized by looking up my nose, okay? So I try and look down as I am, but I don't know if it's focused in or not. It might be. My eyes look bloodshot. I look like a zombie. Wonder if Kenny was accidentally buried in a cave-in. I don't know if it's possible, but if that was the case, Skippy, and if Kenny Veach did the same hike route, you'd have to compare the footage of at the time of when he did his hike to the next time when the next hiker went out there recording the area. Compare a cave, what it once looked like, to what it now looks like. And if at one point it was open and now it's not, you could say, well, maybe that's the cave that Kenny went into. Maybe. Ooh, Mia says, I like it. It's giving a cozy and intimate conversation. Especially when the whispers come on in, or the deep voice. No shave November. What's my response to that, Jam? No shave November? No, it's just Warlike Raf being a lazy bastard. Well, kind of. I'm also timing it. Get the correct length, and then it's easier to cut. My body's a bit awkward, stubborn, but it works that way. So, in terms of the M Cave, which Jeff Clark captured on camera, I think in 2017 or so, or 2016, around that, no other hiker since has caught it on camera or investigated, which means that if most hikers miss out on a potential M cave, what else are they missing out on? And the update is Jeff Clark was talking about the location. I thought you might be preparing. The thing is, Jam, it's hard enough preparing, doing a countdown for these live streams, let alone shaving. I can only handle one finger at a time. But yeah, the location of the M cave was up for discussion. Jeff Clark suggested it was in the wrong area, or the location was off, incorrect from when I did my map analysis, and it needed to be corrected from what Jeff Clark gathered with time. But when mapping it out and comparing, interesting results, and we'll get to that in just a second. Skippy, there's got to be drone or satellite surveillance of that area by the military, since it's so close to them, but we'll never know. But wonder if they captured Kenny on that surveillance. Good question. Important, yeah. I mean, in 2019, satellite imagery on Google Earth, Skippy, showed an actual spy drone plane flying on over. All caught on camera. If you go back in time on Google Earth Pro, you'll probably be able to see it still. On normal Google Earth, it's updated to the latest, so you can't see the past. However, I did a video on it. I've got the screenshots of it and the coordinates, or the rough location at least. And it is close to the hike route area. So you've got military surveillance, planes, spy planes, more so drones. Are they in that area specifically? Or are they just passing on by? Could they be on a mission and then notice Kenny is doing something and then they get sidetracked, or the plan mission changes so they focus attention on Kenny? Make a note about him, pinpoint him, circle him. You never know. But to refer back to that concept of what if Kenny Veach was in a cave-in? Well, it would have to be before Wild Horse Pass, because Kenny's scent ended at the mine shaft. And if he didn't go on any further, then any caves before that he would have had to go in for him to collapse. And I don't think there were or many or really any caves about before the mine shaft area. Unless there's any nearby to where SB was searching for that second mine shaft, if the scent was actually up that way, could be considered. Welcome to anyone else that has joined this live stream and in the background to the Kenny Veach M Cave case mystery. A lot to talk about. A lot of deepness going on, more than ever. And, you know, there could be other people out there or creators that do that bashing and dismissive behavior and saying that's not right, that's incorrect, that's BS. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Doesn't have to resort to any verbal aggression or any verbal assaults or physical assaults. If it's wrong, it's wrong, and that's it. If you're right, you're right. It should be very simple, right? But it's not, is it? Defensive. If people get defensive, why? Why does it concern them? Are they a part of the problem? Are they a part of the case, the mystery? Do people get defensive when you get too close to the truth? Ken, welcome Ken. Not Kenny, but Ken. Did he just have enough? Changed his life with luck, moved east, new life. If that is so, Godspeed. There's always that possibility of staging a disappearance, going elsewhere. But does one change their identity and how they appear? Skippy, but with Kenny's secretive characteristics, was he really showing us the path to the M cave or trying to throw us off? Well, the thing is, Skippy, when it comes to Kenny Veach and his original description of the M cave, he said it was near Nellis Air Force Base. Over there, east. I'm sure Mia has heard about Frenchman Mountains, Sunrise Mountains, animal dumping ground, sheep, goats, dogs dumped dead, scattered, illegal activity. Body found near Frenchman Mountains, homicide, stabbed 6 times, shot as well. Remains a skull, tendon and some bones found, not the full piece, in the mountains. Dodgy stuff going on over there, and Kenny said, in his words originally, that's where the M cave is. Now, I did a poll on my channel page, and for some reason, I scheduled it yesterday. This morning, 0 votes. I'm guessing no one saw it, because normally there's always at least a few people that vote, 20, 30. But there was 0 votes, and that was weird. Must be a glitch. Maybe because I scheduled the post. I'll have to do it again. I'll probably do it tomorrow. As a heads up, the poll will be, would you like to see a closer look at Frenchman Mountains and the very interesting findings located there, even if it's just as like a bit of a side mystery. Jam, my Halloween decorations this year are aliens. Ooh. Interesting. Wow. I could say, Jam, I don't need to dress up because I'm an alien myself. Or at least I feel like an alien at times. What's this? No Presgrove. No Presgrove. Must be 6 months I've missed, but caught Kenny Veach videos. Mia, we do. As of just this year, we have drones that Metro Police Deputy is manning. They roam the city. They also have facial recognition. I'd assumed they will be utilised for search and rescue efforts. Skippy, I missed that pole, Raf. Weather is nice. I've been out hiking a lot. That's good. To be honest, Skippy, I think that poll that I did, it had 0 votes. So I'm more so thinking YouTube probably glitched so no one could see it, because there's no way it would have been 0 if people had seen it, in fairness, just because normally when I do polls, within like an hour, there's at least 4 votes and counting. This time there was nothing whatsoever, so I think there's a glitch. Skippy, I can only imagine the surveillance tools military has. What we know of today is likely years old by the time we know of it. I saw no poll. Well, I appreciate that, Jam Sandwich. It's good that you said. I mean, in fairness, I did remove the poll earlier today, but when did I have it scheduled? Yesterday? I think it was yesterday, scheduled at 1400 hours. And then this morning I noticed nothing, so I just removed it just because to free up bulk space, any glitches. I'll redo it next time, but I won't schedule it. I'll post it immediately. I think I scheduled it because I didn't want it to overlap with any videos or stuff at the time. It's a little bit different, but adding on with what Skippy is saying to Mia, what I would say to Mia is, when it comes to psychology and psychological warfare and tips and methods, if you do ever tell anyone any psychological warfare tips or secrets, always make sure it's outdated, or at least at the time of when you do give the advice, you're a few steps ahead. Because there's always that chance that the apprentice will use it against the master. and you might be on the receiving end of it. But if you give outdated or old advice and you've adapted since, if they use it against you, it's not going to work. That sounds a bit deep and dark, but humans can be that way. And at times, people have tried using it against me. So I know. Jam, I did get the notification about the live. Well, that's good. That's something. That's more important, actually. Popsky, it's great to be back. To be honest, I'm lucky to be here, still fighting, but such a great community. Here, Ralph, appreciate that, Popsky. God, the amount of times I talk, dry mouth. Okay. So we're catching up with the comments. What I want to say is, when I did my video on the giant M cave, or the supposed giant M cave, which a person gave coordinates to me to analyse, it's just before the giant M cave where Jeff Clark's covered, filled in M cave was found at, down Pitcher Canyon, facing west, but on the south side or so, higher up. Popsky, what am I drinking? I'm drinking lemon and lime flavoured water, and technically it's probably not the best option because of drinking more and consuming more. I've got to make sure I don't release anything from my mouth at the time of when talking. And last time I tried putting the water in my mouth as some of a challenge, it was a bit messed my throat up. Can't be any more messed up than what it is right now, then, I guess. Okay. So when Jeff Clark recently said, Warlike Raf, you got the location slightly wrong, it needs to be updated. And Jeff Clark posted a photo from back in 2016 or so of Pitcher Canyon, more so facing west, the entranceway, further down where it starts getting narrow, where you can start feeling both walls with your hands or so just ahead. And in the distance, you got the mountains, it goes like that up and down, and on the other side, it goes up like that. Creates like a V or so. I ended up mapping it, comparing it on second or third attempt. I did find it, supposedly. Got the rough coordinates as well. And it is before that big giant M cave looking rock formation. But it's a bit closer to where I think once marked it as. I think where I once marked it, it was more around the bend, but it's actually after the bend and just before the big M cave on the left. And when I say big M cave, I mean big M cave looking thing, right? Skippy reminds me again, please, how many days after Kenny first saw M cave before he went back? How many days after Kenny first saw the M cave, perhaps before he went back? The thing is, Skippy, this is where it gets really interesting. There is a slight problem though. Some of it may be referenced in either Kenny's video, or it could be referenced in his comments on YouTube, which are now deleted. And that's very unfortunate. But for anyone watching right now, make sure to listen in because this is really important. When you listen to Kenny Veach, and if it's in his video, I'll have to double check, but I do remember it. Kenny Veach went out, found the cave, wasn't expecting to. So that's one hike done, correct? Kenny Veach went back out there to record it as proof. Hike 2, the October one, unsuccessful. Kenny Veach goes out one more time, November, third hike. But you know what Kenny Veach said? And I think it's in his hike video. He said he's been out there 2 other times before. So in total, he's been out there at least 4 times. And if he's also including up Sheep Peak, which he incorrectly named as Gas Peak, that could well be 5 times. At least 4 times out there hiking. And out of the 4 times out there hiking, the first 2, one of the 2 he encountered the M cave. Out of those first 2 hikes that he did, unrecorded, on which of them did he come across the cave? The first time going out or the second time going out? It would make more sense the second time going out, because then he would have talked about it online, and then the next time he goes out, he's got to record it as proof. If Kenny went out there the first time, came across the cave, then went out again, the second time, did he see it again? Not quite clear. But when you add it up based on Kenny's language and wording, he was out there at least 4 times. Not 3 times, but 4. That is extremely important, and a separate video needs to be done on that. I just hope that when Kenny described it, it was in his video so you can see it as proof and evidence yourself. Because, look, this is the thing. My memory is somewhat good. Some people shit themselves because of how good my memory is. I remember all the times humans fail me, disappoint me, and let me down. Whether they're a good person or a bad person, I remember it all. So when people think, oh, has he forgotten about that? I hope he's moved on. I hope he's forgotten. Oh no, it's in here. It's ingrained in my head, right? It can disperse eventually, but I remember it for some time. Like a checkpoint, a bullet list, which is a pain in the backside for people, but don't act like a twat. You won't be remembered as a twat. Simple as. Make an effort. Not that hard. But in terms of the case, I can also remember stuff which is a positive. And as good as my memory is, I understand from the viewer's perspective, they want to see it for themselves. They want the evidence for themselves. I get that. It's not always available. So all you can rely is of someone's memory, and that it might not be trustworthy enough. So, it's fine if people don't believe or are a bit skeptical. Fully understandable. Skippy says, very good points. Thank you. Skippy also said, so had someone else found it before Kenny did, and they thought he was poaching on their land? It's a vast desert. Key thing, Skippy and Mia. Besides Kenny Veach saying he went out there when you add it up 4 times, Kenny Veach also said in his recorded hike, when going down Pitcher Canyon, there was a pile of rocks, a rock cairn, if that's how you pronounce it. He said someone else has been down here. Who and when? Another explorer adventurer like himself, as he described. Kenny Veach acting all calm and collective about that. Knowing that Kenny Veach was out there previously and the time before, coming across an M cave, talking about it online, publicity, then going back out there, Kenny Veach, and noticing that there was somebody else out there before him on the same day, days before, months before, who knows. Another person was out there up Pitcher Canyon or down Pitcher Canyon doing the same thing as Kenny. Whoever it was, were they aware of Kenny's comment online? Were they too looking for the M cave? It was at a time when Kenny Veach was alive, so what other reason would a person be in that area? Because it is a desolate area, still is till this day. And most of the hikers that do go there, they're searching for Kenny and or the M cave. At the time of when Kenny was alive, why would you be going there? Because you're looking for the M cave like Kenny is? And you got there before Kenny did? And Kenny noticed that in his video and said, someone's been here. Isn't that not worrying? Isn't it not concerning that in such a desolate, quiet place, you're not the only one about? So we've got Cleo in the chat. Popsky, I've never done you wrong. You haven't, Popsky. You've done everything right. You're a good example of a person, a good person. No questions. It's that possessive nature people have. Possessive nature in cases. True, not good. Possessive nature in association with other people can be unhealthy. Sometimes it can be blurred lines. What's an example of blurred lines? Where someone appears possessive, but it's slightly misunderstood with past darkness, where they just simply hold on to something and cling on as much as possible because it's important to them, it means a lot, and they know what it's like to lose something or for something to be ripped away, so they're extra careful, cautious, or focused. It's not good, maybe, but things change people. Oh, Popsky with all the roses. That's a lot. Jam, I'm glad to see some of my favourite people in the chat. That's good, yeah. It's a good combination of from in the past and present and maybe future with new viewers that coming on in. Someone may have thought the M Cave had treasure in it, but poor Kenny finds the case that they feel he's going to steal their find. That's a fair point. Whilst Kenny may talk about it online, other people may not have spoken about it online because they didn't want anyone else to find it. And when someone else indirectly does, it's like, damn, it's possible to incorporate what Skippy is suggesting with what Warlight Ref myself was highlighting as in territorial defensive behavior, that whilst in true crime online you can get people that get defensive, protecting their baby, their possession, their little case, their little piece of art. In real life the same can apply, as in if you find something special, you keep it a secret and some stranger comes along blabbing their mouth online, what good does that do? It might ruin it for you. And the more important it is, the more drastic actions that could be taken. We got Skrillus Crow. Welcome to the channel. I'm new here. Is he presumed alive or dead? I know he showed up at his sister's shop later. I mean 2018, the CCTV footage which suggests that Kenny Veach was caught on camera, how I would word it. So Skrillus Crow. Kenny Veach isn't regarded as dead. He's just regarded as a missing person. So you could interpret it as alive, but if he was truly out in the desert, you'd likely think dead. But there's not enough evidence to say he is dead. There's some evidence material to suggest he's alive or was alive up to a certain point. But because of the multiple perspectives, it is about looking at alternative possibilities and bouncing off from one idea to another, even if it is a bit of a contrast or a juxtaposition. Popsy, just got to go grab coffee. Okay, you do that, Pop. Skippy, similar to how old mining people would be used to, they'd go after anyone who they thought might want to steal their claim. Fair enough, I get that, yeah, that's true. Chris, some people who damaged the rock and ladder in the mine. What are you referring to, Chris, there? Are you referring to when Kenny said there was a rock cairn and there was a fellow explorer before him? Are you saying it's the same person that broke the ladder? Because I might have got the name wrong the last time round. I don't think it was Outpost Mojave. I think it was called Off the Trail. Some of a small YouTube channel of 3 guys in 2018 that went out there and they admitted that they broke the ladder accidentally. But in terms of the brace, they did not break that. The brace from one chunk of wood to another to structure it all, the brace was pried off with equipment. Someone covered 3 to 4 hours on a hike just to break something at the mine shaft. Was that sabotage? Do we have a rogue hiker out there secretly planting booby traps, damaging the area to try and throw people off, to get people injured, to scare people away? Chris, definitely people are going out there silently. And it's a shame that they may find something of interest, but they don't talk about it online. Do they do it secretly because they don't want to get in trouble for any activity they may do when investigating? Or are they doing it secretly because they don't want to be known for the darkness that they may be conducting? Cleo, somebody has gone out there and has not recorded, and they don't want to record it and probably don't even get on YouTube. Well, they must go on YouTube in order to know about the location, the findings, watching along as observing, lurking in the background, waiting for the next move. Because look, this is the thing. Videos that I did of certain locations and what certain hikers uploaded, there was a pattern to it. When we covered of one location or one area of interest, shortly afterwards, there was changes to the environment, activity going on. Then another time, looking into an area, a level of interest, sudden changes. Covered cave rock damage. Oh, mine might be a bit so. Are you suggesting, Chris, that the person that moved the rock at the covered cave may also be responsible for the damaged mineshaft? He made the ladder thing down the mine. I don't understand that. We got LNet. Welcome to the channel. I live in Northern Nevada. Yeah, miners protect their claims. A lot of them don't get the government involved. Maybe that's what happened to Kenny. In terms of the mineshaft which Kenny Veach stood near, it didn't seem to be of much value as for what was within it, and it was quite an old one, but if there's any other mines out there which Kenny stumbled across, you never know. I think secretly, Skippy says, otherwise they'd brag about it on YouTube just to get clicks. Cleo says, some people actually don't go on YouTube and they do lots of hiking and adventures and they don't document. Yeah. That's true. But in terms of Kenny Veach, in terms of that hiking area where people wouldn't go in the first place, because it's just not a popular place, or it wasn't at the time before Kenny's disappearance, and it's such a rough, desolate, dangerous area, would anyone really be bothered going out there or want to? It's not worth it. But would people do Hayford Peak, Hidden Forest Cabin or something? Yeah. Sheep Peak, yes, because of the view. But Little Jermaine Canyon, you look at videos online on YouTube, there's hardly anyone. And if anyone had gone out there, it was like 2013, 2012, and they were unaware of Kenny because it was before. Yeah. So at the end of the day, with Jeff Clark and that M cave down Pitcher Canyon, where I had it marked out, it was close to where it actually was at. So it was okay at the end of the day. No major update video needed, but just clarification on it being just a little bit closer past the bend, facing the entranceway, which is somewhat west. The thing is, because the mountains and it being 3D rendered, you can kind of map it out from street view, ground level, boots on ground footage. If there's mountains about, comparing it to satellite imagery where it is 3D rendered. The interesting thing is, Frenchman Mountains and Sunrise Mountains are so much better rendered. The grains, the granules, the rock, the edges, the sharpness on it, it looks real life. It's that clear. As for the rendering quality, I did try it on computer. Maximum rendering quality, it didn't make a difference. It didn't make it better. Skippy, besides Kenny documenting on his YouTube, who else was he sharing information with? Ex-girlfriend, and if so, who did she share that info with? Because that's the thing. Whilst Kenny Veach talked about it online, did Kenny Veach talk about it to his family much? Or is it one of those things where you don't talk to your family about it because they'll just say you're crazy, you know, you're this, you're that. It's not the same thing, but if you've got a hobby or an interest, you're into video games, you're going to play some video games and then run off to your, I don't know, significant other partner and say, hey, look, I've been playing this, I've been doing that. Or more so family, they're going to think, oh, we don't know what that is. What you on about? Shut up. I don't know. Guess depends who you're around. I think at the end of the day, whoever you are around, they should, and it would be good if they're supportive to listen, regardless if they're interested in it, whether they know about it or not. Secrets are never so secret. Unheard, unknown things can be them until they are discovered. Welcome to anyone else that has joined along to this live stream. The Kenny Veach M Cave mystery. The darkness, deepness continues on. Very unusual findings and more questions than ever before. In terms of the Picture Canyon and Robin Canyon, the debate there. Picture Canyon with a row of caves, hotspot area. Hotspot area. Jeff Clark, missing time. SB Vegas Adventures, lost footage. Jam, thank you for your coverage. You're welcome, Jam. Appreciate you being here. Lost footage by SB in Picture Canyon. Weird place. Kenny Veach walked by. Just walked by. Shame. But appeared scared. Looked at that other cave and said, looks like, not going up there, and starts walking off quick. Was he scared, nervous by something? Unusual stuff going on out there. But then Robin's hike area, which SB had mentioned, it's a very dangerous, rough, hard place, and yet Robin was able to manage it. Everyone's different, of course, but why was Robin able to manage it on his first time with not as much hiking experience? No offense to him, no disrespect to me, because Robin chose that canyon, was on a mission, had a plan. Did he know, did he anticipate it to be as dangerous as it was, as difficult? Did he already know beforehand? Did he have a tip-off? Did he have extra information? I'll do a video on it sometime. In regard to, there was, in his video, Robin said, Kenny Veach disappeared November 17th. What? It was the 10th, not the 17th. Did Robin get it wrong as a mistake? You could say so. But what's a creepy coincidence? Susan Veach suggested that maybe on the 17th, that's when Kenny went back out there, or went out there to stage his disappearance and drop the phone off. Hence why the phone was charged, hence why the phone was usable when Red Rock came about. But ever since, there could be a counterpoint to that, because Jeff Clark said, would the phone be charged, left out there, charged? Probably not. But to be accessed, recharged, is very possible by search and rescue to double check if there was any photos of interest on the phone. I'll do a video on that sometime with the counterpoint to balance it out. Mia, I'm here as well. If you come across a claim of trespass in Nevada, most owners will handle it themselves. Maybe call police on larger working claims with lots of supplies and equipment. Interesting. Oh, I'm going to sneeze in a second. Okay. So, Robin's Canyon, the dangers of it and the mysteries up there of the rock symbol to that big looking shaped cave, and the gravel being washed away of the rock anomaly, and the rock anomaly looking different in colour and shape to some extent. What the hell's going on there? Side-by-side comparison could possibly be done to some extent. Not the best camera angle, but it could be done. Thank you, Mia. And then just see how it goes. Mysteries in Robin's Canyon. Do you know what? I might even leave it for a little bit, that video. Skippy a chew. Might leave it for a little bit, that video, because why not wait for SB Vegas Adventures video to drop of the area, supposedly. Have a look through that footage, see if there's anything else that shows up within it, then add it to the comparison with Robin's Canyon and the rock anomaly. Might get better angles, different perspective. So I'll hold that video off for now, just to be patient. The mine shaft versus SB Vegas mine shaft, not far from one another, but it's pretty big and important depending on how search and rescue described it. Vertical mine shaft, well, both are vertical. One may be deeper than the other, but still they're both vertical. Which of the two did Kenny end at? Which of the two did Kenny drop his phone at? The one from his video, or the one which SB later found? Because it was in a different direction. What was Kenny doing going in a different direction? Because if his initial hike in his video was at the mine shaft, the one what we've seen so many times. If the next time when Kenny went out, it was at the other one which SB found, why the change up in plan, the change up in location? Is that misdirection like how Skippy suggests? I wonder. Perfect timing. I don't think it's perfect timing. Oh, and getting towards the end, unless there's any additional questions, because my back for some reason is aching. It's kind of ironic that people say, well, in other situations, when, like if people are working, have a working standing desk instead of being sat down behind a computer, stand up with the desk in front, work and stand and work. I'm more crippled standing than I am when I'm sat down. That's great. I like how other times people, you know, when they use the word a web sleuth, cringe word, when people say armchair detective and they try labeling me as an armchair detective. How can I be an armchair detective when for half of my time on YouTube I've been a bed boy detective? I don't even sit on a chair, I was sat on a bed. And even though if I do sit on a chair now, it doesn't even have arms, so it's not an armchair. People don't think, do they? Skippy says you should rest. Probably should stretch. I can't stretch on camera. I'll disappear off screen. You just hear click and pops going on. Not pops as in popski, but my back popping, and it must be all the muscle in the back ever since changing in size and stuff. It's all mutating, and the lower back as well from the 109-pound single arm row. That needs to recover. But besides that, Raf, do you think pronounce his wrong? I don't understand you. I don't understand, Claire. Right, the next final question would be, would we be any closer to the truth if or when search and rescue reveal photos and details of the search for Kenny Veach? Would we be any closer to the truth? Would it make a big difference or impact? You let me know in the comment section or the live chat right now. It's a bit vague. It's not happened. Because it's not happened, could you say search and rescue have been awkward? Are they being controlled by somebody else out there? Jeff Clark suggested maybe military, higher ups, military government, maybe. Oh yeah. If you remember on this channel, there is the M-Cave emoji. I remember creating that in the past. It's quite, it visually stands out. Might as well honour the Kenny Veach case. So, I think there's about 5 to 10 video ideas on the Kenny Veach case that can be done. They can mutate, they can open up and expand with time. But we're getting some comparisons in it now, aren't we? We're getting the vertical mineshaft, Kenny's M-Cave mineshaft versus SB's mineshaft, which has been found. And that's important because there wasn't that many mineshafts in the area that were found close enough until recent. Travis, did you ever buy one of Sean's M-Cave shirts? No, I didn't. And you know why, Trav? A few people may already know. My hairline is so shit, I am the representative of the M-Cave. You might be wondering why. I don't know if it still applies now, but because the way my hair is, if you pull it back a little bit, it does form the M shape. I am the M-Cave. Okay, it goes up and it goes down like that. I hope no one gets a screenshot because I'm sure that will be used against me at some point. Exactly, Trav. Dead inside. My goodness. But yeah, is my head the key to the M-Cave? Do you need to shove my head into the hole? Let's hope people don't take that out of context. Skippy, yes, we'd get some more data from that release, but if military has anything to do with it, we'll only get a little bit. True. Joel screenshotted. There we go. Used as blackmail against me in the future. Bring it on. But yeah, welcome to the channel, Joel. Which I also want to probably clip the live stream as well. Sorry, I meant, do we say his name correctly? Snake Bit McGee. Play on words, which also means the snake bit my kneecap, but McGee as in a name. And there's other play on word names as well, but it's more inappropriate. Skippy, oh my god, you're an alien from the M Cave. I am. I'm not human. I'm not meant for this earth. I'm not meant for this life. I'm an alien. I've been abandoned, dropped off on this earth, and I don't know where I am or what I'm doing. Take me back to the M Cave. Take me back to the experimental labs. There's unfinished work on my body. Tits McGee. Yep, there we go. Jam summarised it very quick. Jam has it under control. Not so much like my hair. So yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that word now because I don't know if YouTube's going to tell me off. Oops. Family of 6, the struggles are real. Welcome to the channel. It's just so odd that so many disappear without a trace. It's true. But in terms of the area itself, how many people truly go missing out there? If there's like news articles, and specifically of Little Jermay Canyon in the area, Skippy, take us with you, but not to the lab, just the cave. Okay. Do we need a spaceship? Popski with a very interesting emoji. I've never seen that one before, Popski. Well, you didn't get no secret emojis. Is that like an alien symbol? Trav, Kenny fell off the face of the earth. It's so strange. The strangest thing about Kenny Veach, Trav, is how his final comment on YouTube was deleted, and how his videos on his channel of his other hikes were deleted after his disappearance. Why? Popski has an emoji of a brain, something that I might not be familiar with because I don't know if I have one or not. But I don't know what that other symbol is beside it. Skippy, warming up the mothership now. Oh my god. What are you doing? Waxing it or giving it a rub with a cloth? Trav says exactly. And to be honest, Trav, there are so many other little secrets, and unfortunately not all have been archived. Artari, a YouTuber, did a lot of coverage on the background research of Kenny online, forums, comments and all that by Kenny supposedly, and she deleted her videos or privatized them because of harassment, so it was unfortunate that. I think there was a website or a forum where Kenny Veach was talking about money or aliens or something. Don't know where that ended up going. Kenny Veach, Trav, before liked playlist on YouTube went private by policy change, it's screenshotted as evidence and archived, but Kenny Veach had in his playlist a video titled How to Not Go Crazy During Your Awakening. What the hell is Kenny Veach getting up to? And what I'm saying is, if he's deeply in spirituality, did he awaken when he came across the cave? Was he awakened and that's why he found the cave? Did he change in behavior like how other people do, but because of spirituality? Look, there is a pattern and a trend in this case, and I don't know if anyone's picked up on it. Kenny Veach, change in behavior, a change in where he ended up. What's the link? Spirituality, spiritual person. He's talked about it, he shared it. Sean Horlacher, at one point, drastically changed in behavior. Some say never the same again. A deeply spiritual person. Artari, changed with time or at moments. A deeply spiritual person. Do you see the pattern? I'm not saying that all spiritual people will just suddenly change and act up, but at times and with some seems to be a bit of a pattern and trend. Jeff Clark isn't spiritual from my knowledge. SB I don't think is either. Level-headed, common sense, they go out there, they don't change in behaviour. They go out there a lot, risk themselves more, make themselves more of a target the more times they're out there, but still don't change in behaviour. So, like how we talked about earlier, the psychological effects on people that get too invested or involved in a case, a community, and change in behaviour, if they already have certain factors or features and characteristics about themselves, are certain things influenced or exaggerated or heightened or intensified, and energy and spiritual levels and wavelengths are further increased in the wrong way when connected to a case, and it spirals out of control. Jam, agreed. Do they have YouTube channels? When you say they, if you're referring to Artari, yes. Sean Horlacher, yes. Kenny Veach, of course. In terms of the usernames of these said people that I've just mentioned, Sean Horlacher is called Sean Horlacher or Sean Karner. One or the other comes to his channel. Artari is called Artari, as in art, and then Ari at the end, one whole word. Family of Six, any idea if anyone has ever tried to use a medium or psychic in some of these locations? I don't think that's happened, Family of Six. I don't think it's happened at all, really. It tends to happen in true crime. In true crime cases, all the spiritual people come on in with the crystals, they shine them up the rear end, pull them out the other end, and then there you go. Oh my God, we hear voices. I could do a spiritual session now. Oh my God. I'm connecting to the other side. I can feel jam sandwich. Their hands are rather sticky, but not for indirect reasons. They've been handling sandwiches with strawberry jam on them and a bit spilt on their hand and wrist. And now they need to wash their hands before their hands stick to whatever they touch next. Oh my God. Ooh, that was a strong psychic reading then. I'm going to take some time to recharge my crystals and chakras because that was really intense. Speaking of which, we've summoned Vesna Ijik. Welcome. You're welcome, Jam. I don't know if you're thanking me for the channels or you're thanking me for that reading that I did on your hands, but there we go. If anyone else wants a reading, feel free to reach out. So if anyone else has any questions in regard to M-Cave, in regards to Kenny Veach, we can't forget the weird cryptic video by Accord Research Cave M, in which the video was either deleted or privatized. I got the screenshots of it before it got deleted. There we go. Some video coverage is needed on that, maybe as a recap. And I think, to be honest, I'll do another poll at another point if people are okay with me re-uploading or redoing videos from the past which were important but didn't get the views deserved, as in the awareness, because if something important's uploaded but no one sees it, it's wasted. So if it can be re-uploaded differently, if it gets the attention and the awareness, then maybe that's what needs to be done. Skippy, I'm not ever touching other people's crystals. Who knows where they've been? Yeah, Skippy. Oh my goodness. Popsky is a needle. Are you a doctor all of a sudden? I thought I was the only doctor present. Okay. So if anyone said, Warlike Ref, what is your position on this case? Where are you currently at within it? Well, I would say I've centered back into the middle. Centered back into the middle to reevaluate everything with the things that have been missed out, not looked at before. Tactical retreat, so nothing is missed. True crime cases were a good example of being able to look back at what might have been missed. More so for me when I've joined cases when I'm too late and I've missed out on all the early stuff. A little bit different with Kenny Veach because I was starting from 2020 when really everything started, you know, growing in the case. So I didn't really miss out too much. But then again, all the hike videos and the stuff done by SB, catching up on that maybe needs to be. Ooh. Scooter, if that's how you say the name, thanks for the full perspective. You're welcome, Scooter. There'll be more perspective coming. And when it comes to multiple perspectives, there is also the hybrid perspective of one opposite linking with another opposite and a middleman factor which joins both together for a possible outcome. Trav says this channel is like the Kenny Veach HQ. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, that. The Kenny Veach headquarters in the underground bunker, also known as the bedroom. Family of 6, do you believe Kenny's disappearance and the M cave could have been manipulated and covered up? Covered up? All seems so secretive. You know what? If Kenny Veach, I know it kind of defeats the purpose, but if Kenny Veach recorded his hike when he came across the M cave, let's just say he didn't exploit because he was scared, but he recorded when walking by it. If you could compare that footage to his October hike, you could compare what's changed. We can't do that. We've only got one piece of footage. All that we can compare is Kenny's October hike with any other hiker that's come by since. The problem with that is what ultimately changed between Kenny's previous hike and Kenny's recorded hike in order to not find it. Winnie the Pooh, I'm sure you're the one that said, when's the next live stream coming? Well, it's here right now. Welcome. Trav, SB is our Delta Force. Yeah. I like these names and words. What would, you got J Chuck, who regards himself as the French Foreign Legion desert dog. As for Travis Neighbours, what's your nickname or what's your role name? I don't know. I can't think of one on the spot. Maybe Kenny may come into chat one day. You never know. The thing is, Winnie the Pooh, I don't know if you're aware of the case, but the Idaho 4 case, Brian Koberger, before he was arrested, Brian Koberger was interacting on live stream chats with YouTubers covering the case at the time. Weird. Skippy, yes, Trav, and led by Cave Commander Ref. Oh yeah, Jeff Claw, you're late. Jam, sorry, I was in a sticky situation. Understandable. It'll be fine. Yeah. So, Jeff Claw, if you can hear me, well, obviously you should be able to hear me. I don't get notifications anymore. Right, okay, first of all, oh, sticky buns. Ooh, there we go. What I'd suggest, Jeff Claw, is when you go to my channel page, just check if the bell icon, I think near to the subscriber button or so, make sure the bell icon is all ticked as for all notifications. And if it is, untick all of the bell icon symbols and then retick them all to try and reset it, if that works. And what I want to say, Jeff Claw, I don't know if you've heard it before, we kind of know that Kenny Veach has been out there 3 times. First time, he came across the cave unexpectedly. Second time, he tried recording it in October, unsuccessful, uploaded to YouTube. Third time, November, disappeared. In Kenny's video, I think he worded it that he's been out there at least 4 times. So out of the first 2 hikes that he did, which of the 2 did he come across the cave? I don't know if you're aware of that, Jeff. Mia, Door Ripper Commander Raf. The titles are getting endless. This is really good. Wow. Jeff, half of my comments on this case won't post anymore. It's crazy, Jeff. I don't know what's going on. But to be honest, the thing is, Jeff, true crime, so many people's comments were being deleted, removed, some blaming me that I was responsible. I had no part in it. It's crazy. Kenny talks in such a scattered brain way, it's hard to say whether he meant 4 times or 3 times or 2 times. I get that. Yeah. And the more scatterbrained he is, the more contradictions he shows. What's really going on? I mean, another contradiction which I've just picked up on Jeff Clark. I don't know why I say people's full names all the time. It's just so inbuilt within me because of YouTube. But yeah, the contradiction which I've come across recently, Jeff, is Kenny said the M cave in his YouTube comment was hidden. Kenny Veach, when exiting Picture Canyon's footage, said it was easy to find. How can it be easy to find if it's hidden? Jeff, we don't have any reliable, close people to him to know if he was always like that. Fair point. I think what I'll do, in about 10 to 20 minutes or so, I'll end the live stream just to relax, stretch and everything, because it is going on quite a bit, but a lot has been talked about. The reason, just as a heads up for people, the reason why I don't do lots of live streams, because whilst I might be doing videos every day, if I did live streams, it might take away from the videos, as in the narration, the discussions. The exception could be if I do a video as normal, and then the live stream could be a debrief of what's gone down, what's happened, afterthoughts, catching up with comments. I might do that. I don't know if I'll do it on the same day. I don't know about that. I don't know if there'll be enough time because I know the time zone difference. I'll do it as a test maybe someday. If I upload a video and I do a live stream at night, upload the video in the morning, live stream at night, or upload a video one day and then the next day I'll do a live stream about the previous video as what went down, what's gone on. I think the only problem is live streams require a lot of talking or a certain length. Well, there's not a demand, but live streams tend to be longer than normal videos. And if there's only so much to talk about, it might get a bit repetitive, but maybe every now and then it is possible to do. I'll just see what the statistics say, right? Because one of my first or recent live streams I did on Kenny Veach, it got like over 1,000 views, which really did shock me because when I think of video reach, live streams don't notify people always. It's hard to find, so it kind of gets lost, forgotten about. But if it does work and statistically it shows, then it might as well be done. Normal video one day, live stream the following day and onwards. See how it goes. I mean, I can do my live stream tonight because of all the points, you know, all of it considered from, just as a recap, you know, if anyone has joined late, just a quick recap is multiple perspectives, as in where I'm at now, more centered in the case, looking at it holistically from death to alive to staged to out in the desert to cave existing to not existing to external mysteries and beyond, deeper than ever. Mineshaft focus from recent. Did Kenny Veach hide more secrets than what we knew of at the time? Was Kenny Veach responsible for the crystal skull in the cave, in the mineshaft, to signify something to do with the cave or Kenny's disappearance? Maybe. The importance of Jeff Clark's M cave, the location of it, slightly out a bit but adjusted since and near just before that big giant M. Picture Canyon versus Robbins Canyon, the significance of the two. Holding separate mysteries, SB gone to one of them, Robbins footage coming soon, we'll see what that shows. Mineshaft versus SB's mineshaft. I need to do an analysis of that mineshaft and see where things go from there. and if Kenny's scent led to one mine shaft or the other, depending. And would we be any closer to if search and rescue had given over material evidence, photos and details of Kenny's search? Would we be any closer to the truth? Catching up with the comments. Trav says, good idea, appreciate that. Jeff, I stay involved even when battling others. You do, Jeff Clark, you definitely do stay involved. You are a catalyst, Jeff. You are, well, I know Sylvia Hills could have a few words to say about you, but I'm being a bit more positive. Skippy, depending on the angles, several cave openings look like they have an M shape. Tree. Winnie the Pooh, the chat will keep it going, I'm sure. That's fair, that, Winnie. That is a fair point, because in the past, when there's not really been much to talk about other things, the chat has carried the live, and that's why it's important to say that despite me doing what I do on YouTube, it does also come down to people that watch and comment as well. Because if you take one away, the other thing wouldn't exist. They only sent a camera down, if even that. True. Failure of search at the mine is huge. Was a note sitting under the crystal skull. It's important as well with what Jeff says, because if a camera was sent down, whether it detected it or not, if it did, if a proper search was done, if a crystal skull was captured on that day, at that time, it links more to Kenny Veach. If no crystal skull was there, but it was in 2017 onwards, you could say it doesn't link to Kenny, but it links to some other stranger, which is a bit random. Jam Sandwich, any no Presgrave updates on the horizon? Yes. So Jam, I was going to do a video today, but wasn't able to at the end. That's why I'm doing a live stream here, salvaging stuff. Tomorrow or the day after, I'm going to do a no Presgrave video. A new defendant has responded finally, after delays. A new defendant has responded. Documents provided. What else is there? A finding with one of the photos of Noah, scars, marks on his arm, which are a bit weird. Some say self-harm. We have to look into that. Catching up on comments. Jeff agreed. That's why I went to search the mine myself. I thought the mine failure was huge. Who's that person? Interesting profile picture. That username looks along the lines of someone from the past, Russian. Never-ending live stream. Okay. Just checking the time. So, it'll be music to Jam's ears. I'm going to do a countdown shortly. As I'm doing the countdown, any final questions, feel free to drop them in the live chat. And when I count down to 0, I'll end the live, okay? Just because of the time. I started at 2000 hours, so it's been about 2 hours, 30 minutes this live stream or so, which is decent. I'll count down from 20. Shout out to everyone that has watched and has remained watching, and those in the background, and any new people that have come along the way. Feel free to check out my channel page and the full playlist on the Kenny Veach case. 400 plus videos covering it from different angles, and more videos to come. No Presgrave true crime video tomorrow or the day after. If I don't do it tomorrow, then I'll probably do something else tomorrow, maybe. We'll just see. Skippy, thanks, Raf and Jeff. You're welcome. Oh, Jam starting with 48. Interesting number there. You're welcome, Skrilla Crow. Take care, Skippy. 20. 19. 18. 17. 17. 16. 15. 14. 13. Well, yeah, Mia. Take care, Mia. See you all next time. EJ, good night. Till next time. Take care, EJ. 5555555. Oh no, what number was it at? 20, 19, 18. Take care, Popsky. Okay, Jeff. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Why, Joel, on time with when I said 14 at the same time as he typed it in. Whoa, interesting. 13. Ooh, Jam, getting a bit naughty with the demonic faces. Ooh. 13. By the way, Space Invaders Popsky with those emojis. 13, unlucky number. 57, much better number. Bingo time. 12. 11. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. Oh my god, Popsky, what's that emoji? Has the mouth disappeared? 3. B5-1. B12. B6, B7, B8, B9, B12 injections. What? What's going on? Dr. Af prescribing medication. No need. I am the medicine. Ooh, Mia. With the lips. Very bright. Skippy, ciao. Jam, bingo, full house. What does Jam win? Jam Sandwich wins an all-exclusive trip to a fruit picking orchard. If there's any fruit about, it was the right time of the season. Mia with the B17. Is that a bomber? Like a plane? I can't remember. B17, B12, B6, A1, 7, 6, 5, 7, 0, 0, 9, 9, 8, 9, 6, 1. What's going on? Fruit, yes. 6, 5. Skippy, she won a sticky bun. I always cough at the wrong time. She won a sticky bun. What happened to the other bun? Where's that gone? It's gone missing. Winnie the Pooh, 909. Very, very important. 6187992. I can imagine all these numbers, what we end up typing in, we'll probably end up getting someone's phone number accidentally. And then someone will say, oh my God, you've doxed me. Well, it's not on purpose. I'll be true, the laws of England and Wales. Well, the rules and regulations of warlike wrath, thou shalt not whip unless necessary. Okay. And what I find is, I think the end of a live stream ends up leading to a form of live abstract art, the art of numbers and counting up and down and backwards, to the point where I get completely lost and I don't know where I am. To the Lord of the Manor. Oh, no, 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 I'm not your Lord. You're tired. Take some rest. Till next time. Take care. The thing is, sometimes I look tired. I might be tired, but there's some kind of unlimited stamina within. Some people may experience that. Better than an unsticky bun. I think the important question is, Jam, whether you've got one bun or two buns, as long as they're sticky, is there a cherry or some kind of little thing on the end, like, you know, the tip of the bun? Is there a tip on the bun or not, or is that gone missing? I hope it's not dropped off. Lord Door Lord Door Ripper. Ooh, raw. Winnie the Pooh, go talk to your chicken. Okay. Let me give it a drink. The throat's not as good. Oh my God, my voice is going. This is good. Jam, just the tip. Well, if you want the whole thing, that's okay. Is it okay then? Is the tip sticky, or is the whole thing sticky? Is the bun sticky and the tip, or the tip only? Big tips, little tips, I don't know. They're all very useful at the end of the day. Cleo, thank you, Playboy Lord. I don't think I'm a playboy. Whoa, easy there. Did someone say chicken? Oh no. Oh no, Skippy. If I'm correct in saying Skippy, you're the tamer of the coyotes, right? Ooh, better cage those chickens up just in case. Mia. I think I was combining Mia's last name together, Mia and Maven. Maya. Oh my god, a bit of a tongue twister that. One thing that's not been done is a 50 Shades of Wrath countdown. I wonder how that would go. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Winnie the Pooh 44DD. What the fuck is going? Oh my god, Winnie the Pooh, why are you talking about my bra size? How do you know how big my chest is? Have you been measuring me in my sleep? Excuse me, that's rude. Who knew that Wallite Ref was a 44DD? It's been exposed now. Let's go. Where do you want to go, Mia? Where do you want to go? I feel sleepy. So the 50 Shades of the 50 Shades is actually sending Skippy to sleep. I think that's not what's supposed to happen, but there we go. At least we found one way to help people go to sleep. Once again, I've completely forgot how to count down because I don't know what number I'm at. So that's great, isn't it? Whilst I'm here, I'll just give a shout out because there's that little leaderboard thing as in top fans. So, Jeff Claw in 7th place. You do better next time, Jeff Claw. 6th place, Family of 6. 5th place is Jam Sandwich. I thought Jam Sandwich would have been a bit higher up on the leaderboard. That's been rigged. 4th place, Popsky. 3rd place is Travis Neighbours. Shout out. 2nd place is Skippy. And 1st place on the leaderboard is Mia Maven. There we go. Mia Maven the Raven. Keep going a bit. How rude, Google. I would count down backwards in a different language, but I can't because I'm not good with other languages. Some astronaut you'd keep forgetting to count down. Oh. Mia says, oh my, bite the lip. Let's find the M Cave. Fly out here. Let's all meet up with SB, who's driving the tour bus. Interesting. Hopefully the tour bus does not get a flat tire. Chris, strawberry jams, but my Glock don't. Oh, yeah, there you go. Reference to your Glock not sticking because the slide is back and forth. That's good. But don't be shooting any strawberries. They're very delicate. Mia says, I'm honoured. What? Maven the Raven. If that's the nickname that works. There we go. Yeah, that's the thing, Mia. Maven the Raven with focused eyes, never missing anything, picking up on little details and stuff that other people don't see. Popsky, what is going on? I don't know, Popsky. I can't count down. That's what we've learnt tonight. But I think it was more known in the early days as well. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. 43. 5, 4, 43, 6, 1, 2, 5, 3, 2, 2, 1, 5, 6, 9, 11, 12. Winnie the Pooh, 7. 7 pots of honey. There we go. 77 plums. 17 gallons of milk. Very, very good in the resources. 89 feathers. We might as well rename this to the Warlight Ref Bingo Night or something. An endless bingo. 75 strawberries. Ooh, that's quite a few, isn't there? Quite a few strawberries to get through. Wow. EJ, 11 dog collars. But where's the dogs at? I don't know. Where have they gone? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Zero. Any word I can say. Reply to everyone, yes you did, Popsky. Right, so I finally completed the countdown, thankfully. It was a very hard task. Hopefully I improve at some point. Maybe next time I'll count up to 20. I might have an easier time then. Ooh, a 24-hour RAF bingo party. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? 21 cans of Coke, as in what you drink. Okay. So I'll leave it there for now because I've done a live for over 2 hours. Need to stretch and relax. Jam, I'm glad we've all joined. That's true. Mispronounced the tree. I say tree because I can't say the number 3 because my mouth, my teeth don't want to pronounce it correctly. Just like some other words. So big shout out to everyone that has watched the live along the way, and hopefully some people do manage to catch it up on replay and watch it from there. Expect more Kenny Veach videos in some days' time, and I'll see you then. With that all being said, thanks for watching, take care, and goodbye for now. Take care, Winnie. You a tree I loved, appreciate that. And if I dress in certain clothing, I do actually look like a tree because of the brown trousers and the green top. Or I do look like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo. What is going on with my mouth? Feel better, take care. Appreciate that, Mia. Okay, I'm going to end the live right now. Goodbye.